Hello guys, our project is to develop an electrochemical sensor to detect the H2S gas in the environment. The main objective of our project is to increase the sensitivity of the sensor, which is majorly reflected in terms of increasing the safety of the sensor and the environment that the sensor is being used. But at the same time, we also aimed at controlling the economics of the project so as to make the sensor economically feasible. The usage of metal oxides as catalysts makes the process economical and simple because of the easy availability of the metal oxides, and the material selected for anode will be titanium. Even though it is not as inert as costly noble metals like titanium and gold, it still does the job well. Still, we cannot adjust on the usage of silver and silver chloride as the cathode. And electrode material, we cannot observe a drastic decrease in the cost, but regardless, we can ensure a more accurate and more reliable sensor at the market cost or lower.
Now we are going to discuss about the hydrogen sulphide gas detecting sensors. First of all, when the gas mixture comes in contact with the sensor, it has been sensed and sent into DAD, a data acquisition device that helps to convert analog to digital signals when it has been connected with the computer. We also have a main controller that helps to provide the continuous supply of data at regular intervals. We also have the top view, bottom view and side view of the sensors that we are going to use, and we have drawn this using the SolidWorks. This is the interdigitated electrodes. Here the electrodes are arranged in the complex structure that is close enough to transfer the electrons from one electrode to the another one. And in case of the cyclic alternating electrodes, the main advantage is that we don't need to give the continuous potential throughout the process, only the initial potential is enough.
To talk about the reactions that are going to happen in the electrochemical sensor. Initially, air is going to pass through a semi-permeable membrane in order to filter out the impurities, after which it is going to meet the cathode. Cathode is made up of silver and the electrolyte solution is silver chloride. Anode is inert metal, for instance titanium. The reaction that is going to happen is H2S combined with silver chloride is going to give us silver sulphide along with 2 protons, 2 electrons and a chlorine molecule. The protons are going to transfer through the inside the cell itself, while the electron is going to pass through the wires and giving us current, and the electrons and protons combine at the anode giving us a HCl molecule. It is also doped with tungsten trioxide. Hence the reaction, another reaction that will happen would be the tungsten trioxide plus H2S giving us tungsten sulphide along with water molecules, through which electrons is again produced, thus improving our accuracy and sensitivity. Now we are also implementing the artificial neural network model in our project, and we have chosen shallow neural network algorithm for this purpose, because shallow neural network algorithm has hidden layers through which all correlations can be mentioned and weightage can be assigned, through which the output can be determined accurately. And from the shallow neural network we have obtained this graph through the data that are given. The data shows that with increase in temperature we get increase in accuracy and sensitivity, and another graph shows that with increase in the dopant level of tungsten trioxide we get increased accuracy with increase in concentration, but at low concentration that is not the case because of the fact of surface modification that is involved when tungsten trioxide is present.
So now we'll be seeing about the ADC, which is the analog to the digital converter. We'll be getting the analog signals from the electrochemical sensor that we have to convert into a digital signals. We'll be converting it to a digital signal for the better understanding and the interpretation of us. We'll be doing this with the help of the Simulink, which has been shown in the PPT. So the entire Simulink can be divided into 3 major parts, where the first 3 blocks will be representing the low pass filter. The low pass filter, what does is that it will suppresses and attenuates the high frequency of the broad spectrum, but also intensifies the low frequency for a specified range, because so that none of the frequency is being missed out, because we need all the frequencies to be recorded for the approximation. The next 3 blocks will be representing the quantizer. The quantizer, what does it? It will be mapping the data that been collected from the low pass filter, because the data that been collected will be scattered among the graph. So we need to do the mapping for the further processes. As I said before, for the further processes, we need a decimeter for the optimization and the approximation of the data that been collected from the low pass filter. Now there are three graphs that's been shown in the PPT, whereas the first graph is the analog data that's been used as the input of the system, whereas the second graph is the digitalized optimization that's been done by the system, which is the output of the system, whereas the third graph represents the error that's been detected in the system because while doing mapping certain values are negligible.
H2S gas is poisonous, corrosive, flammable, and has a rotten smell. On contact with H2S gas, there will be continuous eye irritation and respiratory problems. On further exposure, H2S gas can be really lethal and can potentially cause death. Such are the effects it has on human beings. Apart from this, presence of H2S gas in the industry is also highly unlikely. In petroleum industries, the presence of H2S gas can potentially sweeten the crude, decreasing its quality. Also, considering its trait to be flammable as well as poisonous, it is naturally not recommended to ignore the emission of H2S gas. To detect such a potentially threatful gas, presence of highly sensitive and accurate H2S sensors are needed. Considering the number of deaths that are happening annually in drainage mines due to the falls of H2S sensor and credibility of the project can actually bring a change in the system, potentially saving the lives of many people. Also, the fact we use metal oxides, which is simple and cost effective while also providing significant improvement in the efficiency, further adds up to the point. Though we cannot observe much change in the reduction of the cost, we can ensure that we can achieve more safety and quality with the same price of existing sensors or even lower. Thank you.